Good morning, gamers. Welcome into the Gamer Show's podcast. I'm your host, Joshua J. Alongside me, Wesley Lance.
Morning, everybody.
Today is February 17th.
Hope you all had a good Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, great Valentine's Day, great everything.
Yeah, a lot happened this week.
I know. It's been a weekend. But that being said, I loved the Super Bowl. Did you enjoy it?
No. Sorry.
Oh.
I realized I do like spending time. I like watching football with my family, but I realized I don't know what it is about football games. They make me anxious. Like about halfway through, I started getting really anxious and I kind of shut down. And I think it's just the fact that football games are 3 hours of constant noise. You always have the crowd, you always have the people talking. I don't know what it was. I started shutting down. I think Michaela got a little bit worried about me.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So doesn't help that my family has a weird conspiracy theory that we kind of feel like the game is always rigged against the team that we root for. And when the Bengals got, 3 penalties in a row at the very end of the game, the Rams were doing that run. It was their last touchdown. The Rams were doing that drive towards, and the Bengals got penalty after penalty after penalty that didn't really that weren't really legitimate because they weren't really doing that badly. And also the refs all of a sudden woke up and started calling everything on the Bengals. It just kind of reinforced that. So we kind of got depressed and I was already stressed out. So no.
Well, I would disagree with you on that in terms of, okay, so here's the thing. I wanted Matt Stafford to win, but I wanted Joe Burrow to win. I was torn so much during that entire game. Joe Burrow would be playing, I'm like, yeah, Joe Burrow. And then Matt Stafford, I'm like, yeah, Matt Stafford. It was so fun for me because I loved both teams so much and wanted both of them to win so much that it was great. When OBJ went down the second quarter, I felt heartbreak and sadness for him. I will say, though, I think it was Tyler Higbee that caught the pass from Joe Burrow. And the reason he was able to do it is he reached, grabbed the face mask, I think it was like this, yanked it, and then caught the ball and ran it for a touchdown. And you can't do that.
Yeah.
But the refs didn't see it. They didn't call it. You know what I mean? So it resulted in the Bengals getting a touchdown. Otherwise, that would have been set them back, and they probably wouldn't have been able to go get that touchdown because Bengals were having
that's probably true.
all night. So there were a call that resulted in a touchdown in both facets of the game.
It was 3 in a row, though, for the Rams touchdown.
Okay, but one of them I really do think was legit. He was tackling him before the ball was even in his hands. And
yeah, one of them was, but the other ones weren't.
So yeah, it.
But at that point, I'd already shut down and wasn't paying that much attention anyway. So
that being said, Joe Burrow did have a one last chance to go down and score, and his line just can't defend for him.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
So Aaron Donald goes in there, wraps him up, starts taking him down, and he just flings it. And the dude didn't have his head looking at the quarterback, so the ball just hit the ground and it was over.
Yeah, that's true.
It ended anticlimactically.
It really was.
I honestly wish they would have given that kicker, McPherson, I wish they would have given him that shot. I know it's 67 yards, but...
Hey, it's better than trying to run on a fourth down.
Well, they tried to pass it on that fourth down.
Yeah, pass on a fourth down.
It was fourth and 1, and then they dropped it in shotgun, and I'm like, no, they're not. And then they hiked it. I'm like, they did. But, congrats to the Bengals. They were supposed to be in a rebuilding season. They made it to the Super Bowl. So,
yeah, I mean, the fact that they made it to the Super Bowl is impressive.
I mean,
so.
GG's. But it was a fun game. I had a fun night. It was good. It was good for me. So.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be a downer. I just legitimately found out, because the only other time that I felt like that was when I was in a house that had a football game. We were staying with somebody, and they had a football game on all the time. And I just felt really anxious the whole time. And that is the only commonality that I can find. So I don't know what it is. It feels stupid. It makes me feel a little bit like a snowflake, but I don't know why. I just was I wasn't feeling good. I don't know what it was.
Maybe next time, honestly put it on mute. Because you can still watch the game and see what happens, But
the commentators never say anything worth listening to anyway.
Well, and the crowd noise is usually a lot louder than... It was louder this year and last year than
I think it's just because it's that constant roar. Yeah. That never stops.
Because they pump in some crowd noise to make it sound more, I don't know, exciting. I don't know. But
that doesn't excite me.
Moving on to some more exciting news, in my opinion, I love the Super Bowl, is...
We finally got this coffee. And it's been 2 weeks.
I'm going to let you read it because I screw up words and names.
Oh, Spencer said it's Sunergos.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it actually is the way it's pronounced the way it looks. Yeah, Spence told us it's Sunergos. Sunergos Coffee, Guatemala, Los Volcanes. thick almond malt and molasses. So this is
it said thick. When I first read it, I thought it said think. Like think.
Oh no, think. It is think.
It is think.
It is think. You were right. It's not thick. It's think.
I was right for once.
This is a roastery out of Louisville. If you're from anywhere else, you might say Louisville, but we have a Louisville resident on staff here, and he is insistent that it's Louisville. So, this is recommended to us by Spencer Davis. He says it's really, really good. It's one of his favorite coffees. So we've been excited for it, and it took forever to get here. I think you ordered it like 2 Saturdays ago, so it's taken a little over 2 weeks to come in.
Yep, it's taken a decent chunk of time.
But I am excited to try it because it smells really good. Like you brought it in and it instantly filled the room. I don't think we've had this fragrant of a coffee in a while.
No, I'm excited.
So hopefully it's still warm. Yes, it's still warm. So that is good. All right, so here we go. Ooh. Oh, that's really nice.
I like it.
It's not quite as bold, I think, as...
Still doesn't beat the avocado coffee.
It's just under that. I think the 3 avocados had a little bit more robust of a flavor. This is super smooth, though. I actually feel like this is a better evening coffee. If you're into drinking coffee in the evenings.
I am.
Like Josh. I feel like 3 avocados is a really nice, bold morning coffee. And I think a decaf version of this, that flavor would be perfect in the evening. Like it's nice and smooth and just kind of, I don't know. No, it's really good. I think it's a solid. What would we give avocados? 8.5?
I think so.
I think it was it. So I'd give this an 8. Like
Agreed.
just under, just because I like a little bit more bold of a flavor.
What was the Teen Challenge coffee that we had tried?
I think we gave that one a 7.5.
Yeah, because I was going to say, this is better than that one.
Yeah.
But not as good as 3 Avocados. It's kind of right. They're all 3 a decent
You really
coffee.
can't go wrong with any of them.
Right. Again, 3 Avocado, though, that was as close as we got to that Kayakopi coffee. So that was definitely taking the cake. But this one is definitely really, really good. So I enjoyed it.
I will say, I appreciate how 3 Avocados comes in the big bag. This is a pretty small bag, but I'm sure they've probably got bigger options if you would like to.
Right. And did the 3 Avocados, that came ground already, didn't it?
No, well, you can get it ground, but it came whole bean.
Okay. Because I like whole bean. This came whole bean too. So I like grinding my own coffee. It's just it seemed more fresh.
I saw an ad for a coffee the other day. It was an ad on a YouTube video I was watching, and it was it's freeze dried coffee. So like they brew it and then they freeze dry it. And it comes in like a little K-cup pod, and you drop the pod in your glass and pour hot water over it, and it makes coffee.
My wife sent me that, and she wants us to try it on the podcast, so I will definitely be trying to get those.
Okay, because to me, that just sounds like glorified instant coffee. And there's something, I don't know, there's something about the ritual of making coffee that I like. Like you get up in the morning, you scoop the beans out, you grind it up, you pour it in. I don't know. Like its whole thing is like, you don't need to have these messy coffee makers out. You don't have to clean up the grounds. I was like, I don't know. There's something about the ritual of making coffee because then it smells like coffee as you're grinding the beans. I don't know.
Yeah,
I wasn't sold on the idea.
My favorite way is a French press. I love the French press.
I do want to get a French press. They're not that expensive, are they?
If I could wake up every morning, look out my nice $1 million mansion, beautiful glass windows overlooking.
Why is the $1 million mansion
as the sun comes up? Making my French press in my nice white robe, fluffy and soft.
I feel
open up my laptop because we don't use newspapers and read the morning headlines and get depressed and drink my coffee.
This feels like a metaverse commercial, Josh. Like I can imagine this in my head, and it sounds like a metaverse commercial.
He opens up his laptop, it's his crypto stuff, and he like switches some stuff around.
And then there's those weird dancing jungle animals in the background from the one commercial.
No, that would ruin it.
Metaverse commercials weird me out. But Speaking of metaverse commercials, this is not my roast of the week, but we're going to call it the rant of the week. Why were there so many crypto and NFT commercials during the Super Bowl?
Did you do the QR code that was just bouncing?
That one, okay. If that had not been for crypto, that would have been my favorite ad because they were trying to do the like DVD.
Well, I know. And then it did hit the corner.
It did hit the corner.
Honestly, I thought it was great for crypto.
Yeah, it was great for crypto. I just hated the fact that it was for crypto. If it had been for something that I would have found useful, it would have been my favorite advertisement. But we all scanned. I didn't have my phone on me. I couldn't find it. So all my family was like, "What is it? What is it?" And they're like, "Oh, it's Coinbase." But I think it was Coinbase.
What would have been cool to have it be?
I don't know, like a movie or a video game or like something useful.
Because you wouldn't want it to take you to a trailer for something like that, because you'd want to watch that on the
No,
big
it would have
screen.
been like a really immersive website that reveals things slowly, like a really, really cool website that as you scroll down reveals more things, like almost like an ARG sort of thing. That would have been cool if it had been for an ARG, like the start of an ARG.
Yeah. I think it'd been cool if like you scanned it or whatever and it popped up and it was like I don't know, say 50% off like an Xbox Series S or something.
Yeah, something like that. Something useful.
Right.
I don't know. I felt so much like the world was on a vast conspiracy to make me feel like I was missing out because I didn't want to get into crypto, and they were trying to make it into this big thing. I was talking about it in the Geeks Into Grace chat, and I was like, it's like Tinkerbell. It loses all power when we don't believe in it. And then I was like, but that's true for real money too. So
oh, yeah. Yeah. It's no longer backed by gold. So.
I will say the end of that commercial was giving me weird, like, have you ever heard of analog horror? It's a genre on YouTube of like people making these horror stories, but telling it in the medium of like old VHS tapes and like old analog TV recordings. And the end of that Coinbase commercial gave me that vibe because it like went brrr, and it looked like old TV.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe this is an ARG. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my short little rant of the week. Tired of hearing about crypto in the metaverse.
Being
the word meta has
in
been
the metaverse.
moving for me.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's another NFT extravaganza.
Well, time for the roast of the week, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm not excited for this one. I'm really disappointed and kind of infuriated.
Yeah. So I have a love-hate relationship with Nintendo because they make some of my absolute favorite games. I love my Switch. I know a lot of people think the Switch is stupid. I love the Switch. I love that I have it in my briefcase right now. Like, I really do enjoy it. But Nintendo as a company, I don't know how to feel about anymore. So I think we actually might have mentioned this a while back. So back in December, a man, and the reason it got so much attention is because the guy's name is Gary Bowser, and he's a Nintendo hacker. And back in December, he was caught distributing, I believe, for creating and selling console hacking software and devices used to play pirated Nintendo Switch games. Back in December, Nintendo reached a settlement that he agreed to pay $10 million to them. This was in December. Well, recently, it was taken a step further. So Kotaku.com, Nintendo thanks feds for sending hacker to prison for 3 years. The house that Mario built continues to show zero mercy towards folks who facilitate piracy. This is by Ian Walker. Recently indicted Nintendo hacker Gary Bowser has been handed a 40-month prison sentence by the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Washington for creating and selling, quote, console hacking software and devices used to play pirated Nintendo Switch games, unquote. This is according to a victory lap-style press release published by Nintendo this afternoon. And by this afternoon, this was published a week ago Thursday for you guys. It was the most recent Thursday for us, but I still think it's relevant. This afternoon that dedicates much of its word count to praising American law enforcement. We've included the full text below so you can see what a sizable chunk of gratitude it is. The way Nintendo thanks these feds, you'd assume they brought in the next Pablo Escobar instead of some guy who helped folks pirate some video games. Quote, Nintendo appreciates the hard work and tireless efforts of federal prosecutors and law enforcement agencies to curb illegal activities on a global scale that cause serious harm to Nintendo and the video game industry. In particular, Nintendo would like to thank the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, of the Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Washington. How many people were involved in this? The U.S. Department of Justice's Computer Crime and Intellectual Property Section, and the Justice Department's Office of International Affairs for their significant contribution and assistance. The U.S. government's prosecution argued in court documents filed last week that Bowser was, quote, the public face, unquote, of a, quote, criminal enterprise, unquote, known as Team Executor, estimating that the group's actions resulted in a $65 million loss for Nintendo. These statistics are usually questionable, and suggesting 5 years in prison as punishment. Bowser's defense, on the other hand, claimed that he was the least culpable, quote unquote, of the 3 arrested members of Team Executor and was only being used to, quote, send a message, unquote, because his co-defendants reside in countries that may not extradite them. Bowser also agreed to pay Nintendo a sum of $10 million during a separate civil case that was settled in December 2021. And this is the last paragraph of the article. It's written in first person. I don't know what to say here. I know we've made light of this whole thing because of the dude's name, but it sure seems excessive that he's losing 3 years of his life due to selling video game mod chips. I would agree. So video game piracy is a weirdly contentious issue because a lot of people argue that it actually creates consumers that the people playing pirated games were not going to buy the game anyway. So the argument is Nintendo isn't really losing sales. Really, they're gaining exposure to people who would not give a crap about Nintendo if they couldn't get the games for free. These are people that really would not play these games. So by allowing piracy, it's bringing more people in. And then if they want to support it, and you have to buy a Switch. So they're selling systems. So that's one argument. I don't like piracy. I think emulating games that you own is a different story. I don't do it just because I don't know how to get legitimate or get ROMs in a safe way. But if you're emulating games you own, that's different. But if you're pirating games you don't own, to me, that's stealing the work of people who worked hard. Video game development is a rough process, especially now when you're dealing with CEOs. And all of my other roasts were about NFTs and CEOs being out of touch with their companies. I was like, that's depressing. This is depressing too. But video game development is a rough time. And so pirating games that you don't own feels a little scummy to me. Scummy enough to get sent to prison for 3 years? You talk about the banhammer, Nintendo. Chill. He already agreed to pay you $10 million. One guy. This is not a company paying $10 million. This is one guy. His children's children would have been paying this off.
Yeah, they ruined this dude's life.
It really did.
I am so against this on such a massive scale. It makes me angry that they would do something like that because Nintendo's rich. The CEO of Nintendo is sitting in his nice ivory tower with his billions of dollars chilling and going, "Oh my gosh, send him to prison." When he's probably done way worse things.
It feels a little bit like Lord Farquaad. Some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make.
It's dude, I don't know. If we cracked open some of these top positions of, these companies and dove into their life to see what things they've done.
Oh,
what I mean?
Much worse.
And yet they're over here going, we're going to spend, they spent tax dollars getting this dude to go to prison.
Yeah.
They're going to spend tax dollars because this dude has to be in prison. And they're also wanting him to spend $10 million.
And it feels a little over the top. That press release was so it almost feels like they're glorying in it. Do you know the meme of the guy in the Olympics who he gets the medal and he kisses the lady and he bites on it and he's actually in third place? Do you know the meme I'm talking about? I'm going to put it up on the podcast so you guys can see it. I do
know what you're talking about.
That's what this feels like a little bit. They're just yeah. And this guy's family is oh, wow. It feels a little bit like boot in the face. And again, I'm not defending what he was doing. I feel like what he was doing was wrong. I'm not defending piracy. I'm saying there are arguments for it that I understand. I just disagree with them. But this feels so over the top. Yeah. In addition to the fact that he's still paying that $10 million after being sent to prison for 3 years for selling mod chips.
Yeah, it makes me upset. I feel like this is going to do so much negative press for Nintendo than it's going to do good. They're thinking look, we put a hacker away, praise us. And we're all no.
You ruined a dude's life for, in the grand scheme of things, not that much money to you.
Yeah.
Even if that 65 million is a legitimate figure, with a lot of people are thinking it's overestimated, how much money does Nintendo make on a yearly basis that 65 million is worth ruining a dude's life?
Right. And I don't know.
It makes me feel weird to be a Nintendo fan.
People go to prison that have murdered people and get out in less time than 3 years. You know what I'm saying? And they were trying to get this guy to go away for 5.
This is a commuted sentence.
People do get caught dealing cocaine and don't go away for as long. I don't know. There's a lot wrong with this.
Yeah, I know. And after reacting to the Nintendo Direct and feeling so excited for all the games coming out, it makes me wonder if I want to keep buying Nintendo games. I don't know.
It's just one of those things where you got to really just, again, you have to separate the company in some aspect from its workers. Because I don't think its developers that were developing games were put them away for years. They're not going to see that $10 million that he's going to pay. They're not going to get it.
No.
It's not going to them.
It's not going to benefit them at all.
This is just, again, they made an example of him to be like, don't pirate game. Like, you could have done that by making the dude do, 12 months of community service and actually put him to work doing something good, right? Making him serve the community where they could be, yes, make him pay back some money or something or whatever, or cut your losses and use this as a thing like, hey, he was doing this, he got in trouble for it, so instead he's doing 12 months of community service, do that. Do that. And then people would be like, you know what? They took a bad situation, they ignored themselves and said, you know what? Just make him work for the community. Let's give back to the community. Don't pirate. And it would become a good story of like, hey, pay people for their good work. You know what I'm saying? But then also this dude would be helping the community rather than now spending 3 years in prison away from his family, having to pay back $10 million. And I think didn't just ruin his life, you're ruining his family.
I think an example of the way this could have gone differently is, ironically enough, looking at the way Sega handled Christian Whitehead making fan games. So Nintendo has a terrible history of fan games, constantly shutting people down for making games that are like celebrating their work, which feels so weird to me because it's not like they're taking away profits by making fan games. Nobody is not going to buy a Nintendo game because somebody hasn't made a fan game. Nintendo has historically shut down anything. Christian Whitehead made an entire engine to run the original Sonic games, the Sonic Retro engine, went to Sega, said, hey, I made this thing. And Sega's like, you know what? Make Sonic Mania. They hired him and his team to make an official game, and it is the best reviewed Sonic game in years. It turned out it was nothing but good press for Sega to partner with people who love these games. And I think pirators are I really feel like he was doing it because he likes Nintendo games. Maybe he was doing it to make a profit. I don't know. But most of the time, stuff like this is done because people just like games. And this just feels a little bit like the big kid on the playground just beating people up.
Yeah, it feels dirty.
It really does.
I don't like it.
Okay, we got to move on. How long have we been recording? I feel like we've been going for a long time.
It's only been about 20 minutes.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. Never mind.
So we said last week that this was going to be our prediction podcast for 2022. And that's still the case. So this is my thought. I've seen other podcasts do this with sports and movies and some with games and all this other stuff. But beginning of the year, we're still kind of in the beginning of the year. Make our predictions of what we think, come out with 5 predictions, right? Yeah. It could be based on games, platforms, whatever, literally anything having to do with games. And at the end, we'll see, at the end of the year, we'll see if it happens and we'll come up with points system and all that stuff. It'll be fun. We'll see
figure it out.
But that being said, do you want to go first or you want me to go first with my first prediction?
Oh boy. You go first with your first one.
Okay. My first prediction is this. PlayStation's new network that they're coming out with, what's it called? Spartacus? Project Spartacus.
Yes.
I think that it's not coming out this year. Well, okay, no. I think it could come out this year. No matter what, if it does come out, I think it's going to flop. I'll put it this way. It comes out this year and it's a flop.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty decent prediction.
They're gonna have it to where they're not gonna have any day one titles. It'll be more retro style stuff, and it just isn't gonna be anywhere near. It's gonna be compared to Game Pass, and it's gonna fall way short. Not just it's not the same, but people are angry. Dude, this is what you decided to do.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. I think it comes out this year because it's been rushed or something, and they fall way short. So that's prediction 1.
Okay. My first prediction is that Breath of the Wild 2 is going to get delayed again.
Oh.
Just because I'm setting myself up for disappointment. It took, I think, 7 years for the original Breath of the Wild to finish development. And I know that they're not having to recreate the engine or anything, but I don't know, man. I don't feel like it's going to come out. I don't feel like it's going to come out in, when they say it's going to come out, they're saying late 2022. I feel like early 2023 is what we'll see.
You thinking
I'm thinking
Q1?
Do what?
Q1 2023?
First quarter of 2023. I think. I'm making this prediction with the hopes that I'm wrong, because I would love to see Breath of the Wild 2 this year, but I don't know. I'm not hopeful.
No, I could see that, and it makes sense. Makes sense. My second prediction, I'm going to say, I think Xbox raises their Game Pass subscription.
Oh.
By the end of the year, I think at the end of the year, they're going to raise it, but not by a lot.
Yeah.
But, by like $2 or something. I just...
I think that makes sense.
After a lot of these games come out, and after we know a lot more about their acquisition with Activision and everything like that, I think more news will come out about that. I think they're going to be able to raise their price. I don't think they'd be able to raise it up past $20 at all. I think that they'll be able to raise it, like maybe $16.99 or $17.99, something like that.
Yeah, that could make sense.
Just a little bit higher. I think they'll honor everyone that bought a year long, or like when you buy the Series S or X, you can get 2 years worth of Game Pass.
Yeah,
I think
financing.
they'll honor all of that, and they might even do something where it's like, okay, if you continue your subscription, we'll keep it at that price. But
Right.
as soon as you stop it, even for a month, then you're going to have to pay a new price.
It was kind of like how Spotify for students, like you could keep that price for a little bit afterwards, but the minute you canceled, then you came back, you had to pay the full price. Yeah, I could see that.
So I could see it going that route.
Okay, second prediction, game related. I think Ghostwire Tokyo is going to be a surprise hit. I really do. I really do.
Game of the Year contender, or
I don't know about game of the year contender. I think it's going to be one of those games that like doesn't get a ton of press, but I think it's going to get like a cult following. And maybe it's a bigger deal than I think it is, but it struck me as something really cool. I don't have a PS5, so I'm not going to be able to play it, which kind of sucks because I don't normally play horror games, but this one just looked, I don't know. I might make it to Game of the Year. I am really bad at picking Game of the Year contenders. Like, I'm just really bad at predicting what people like. But I really feel like that this one's going to be kind of a sleeper hit.
Okay. Hey, I hope so. That'd be pretty cool. I like when games come out and surprise everyone. I think which I'm going to give you a take for my third that's complete opposite of what you said in your first take.
Oh, Ghostwire is published by Bethesda. Okay, well then never mind. It might be Game of the Year contender because they got the name behind it.
That's true. And their work backs it up.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So my third take is that Breath of the Wild 2 gets shadow dropped at a Nintendo Direct this year.
You think they're gonna shadow drop Breath of the Wild 2?
I think that would be such a boss move that they just went, oh, by the way, it releases today. Do you know how much, like, that would cause so much stir than just giving a release date and having people expect it? Like, if they just shadow dropped it, like, imagine not being so much into the gaming news like every single day, but you're excited for this game, and then, you walk into GameStop and you see it on the shelf, or it'd probably be sold out. So you hop on Nintendo Switch and you see someone playing it and you're just like, wait, that's out?
Okay,
that would be mind-blowing.
You're making this prediction like it's a crazy take, but honestly, looking at Nintendo historically, that's not that big a thing. That's not that far off. So when the Super Nintendo released, the NES was a Famicom. So the Famicom is the NES in Japan. It was a huge smash hit in Japan, sold like crazy. So when they released the sequel, the Super Famicom, one would expect that they would, expect it to do reasonably well. They intentionally underproduced to the point that they almost broke the Tokyo economy for that day, the day it released, because nobody went to work because they were lining up to get Super Nintendos.
Whoa.
So Nintendo knows the way the market works. So at first I was like, that was crazy, but they kind of revel in that. Now, historically, that was Nintendo. Right. That was Nintendo 20, 25 years ago. That may be different now, but there's some historical precedent for them intentionally creating panic, basically.
I think it'd be cool. Like, okay, let's say this. If it happens, I get 2 points for that.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I think that it could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Happens because they usually do what, 3 Nintendo Directs a year?
Something like that. They usually like drop them real quick.
I think it would be the last Nintendo Direct they do.
Yeah, well, because it's Breath of the Wild is supposed to come out at the end of the year,
Right.
so
it would be one of those things where the second Nintendo Direct, you might get like a trailer for it and be like, yeah, we're excited, new trailer. And then that third one, they're like, oh, by the way, that game that we showed you, yeah, it's out. And everyone's like, wait, what? It's what? And they're like, yep, it's out. Go play. Have fun. Go buy it. Spend money. We sent someone to jail, so he can't play, but go buy it. Go play it, you know? Like, I don't know. So anyway, what's your third take?
Sorry, I was just taken aback. I'm looking at the schedule of game releases, and apparently there's a game
I
supposed
saw
to
that
release
too.
in 2022 called I Am Jesus Christ. It's supposedly a Jesus simulator where you play as Jesus.
I did see a picture where he was washing the feet.
That's all I see too.
So I wonder, I don't know, I kind of want to play it.
I don't.
I kind of want to see if they do it justice, or if it's kind of like if it's a mockery, or if it's literally like, no, like you get to walk the life of Jesus and
I'm
walk
going to
his shoes.
assume that it's probably going to be pretty sacrilegious, considering most Jesus games don't do that well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I say we give it a shot.
All right. Well, there's my third take. I don't think I Am Jesus Christ is going to be an accurate portrayal of the life of Christ. Don't think that's really that hot of a take.
What if you get to like walk on water and like heal people?
I mean, that would be accurate, I suppose, but
There you go.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
What if it's a side scroller of him like hopping across clouds? And you have to like, it's like Mario, but with Jesus
It's
and clouds.
person. It's first person.
Oh.
I saw if the screenshots that I've seen, no, that actually might be my third take. I'm just looking through, and honestly, I wasn't paying attention to most of these game releases. Especially because most of them actually have like actual release dates. Boy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really bad at predictions. I don't feel good about making predictions. I feel like most of the games that have an announced release date are going to. The only other thing that I could see getting delayed would be Starfield. I really do feel like that's probably going to get pushed back. I don't want both two of my predictions to be about games getting delayed, but I don't know. Starfield is so huge. I would rather them delay it than come out with another Fallout 76. So
True.
Okay, maybe that'll be my third take. Starfield's going to get delayed too. I
Okay.
think it'll still come out day and date on Game Pass. I think they're going to stick to that.
Oh, right.
I just don't think it's going to come out when we think it is.
Well, that was going to be my fourth take, so you took it. But dang it. But no, I think I like that take. I hate that take, but I like that take. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, I agree that that's probably going to happen. That being said, I'm bummed by it because I'm really looking forward to playing it, but we just haven't seen really anything about that game. Like, it's just been so
It's really been
quiet.
it got announced at E3 and I haven't heard anything since then.
I mean, they did have one, like, I think it was a trailer, like real short trailer about it. But so my fourth prediction is EA is going to be bought. And
Oh no, this one is, I think I agree with this one.
I don't think Sony's going to do it. I think Microsoft would do it. They're already having stuff like EA Play on Game Pass. I don't think Sony is going to feel the need to pull the trigger on that. I don't think they want to pull the trigger on that. I don't think they're in this whole acquisition mode. They got Bungie just because I feel like they want to get into the whole, not necessarily MMO, but just more of a multiplayer type genre because they're not into that.
Yeah.
Bungie has created arguably one of the best console multiplayer, like close to MMOs that you can with Destiny.
Destiny really isn't pretty much an MMO. Yeah.
Right. And so it's, they got the best company to do it essentially, and they're going to try to make that happen with them. I think they already came out with like 12 different IPs or 12 different games that they want to come out with in the next 5 years. So, so they have a roadmap they want to do. So I don't think they're going to necessarily try to do more. So yeah, that's my prediction. Microsoft ends up, doing another acquisition and getting EA.
Watch it be Nintendo. It's not going to be Nintendo.
Buy it for that $10 million. They make that guy pay.
That is not my take. Nintendo is not going to buy EA. If we lived in a world where Nintendo owned EA, wait, does EA own Ubisoft?
I want to say yes, but let me look it up while you come up with your take.
Okay. Just because Nintendo has partnered with Ubisoft for the Rabbids games, so that actually might be a connection, and I said that as a joke, but anyway, I think my next take is I'm not sure how to put this. The Nintendo Direct made me realize how much Nintendo is leaning into nostalgia for the Switch. With the Klonoa collection coming out, with the new Mario Strikers coming out, they're really leaning into these franchises from the past that people have a lot of fondness for. And again, with Pokemon Legends Arceus's less than stellar graphics, to put it lightly, they're really leaning into people's nostalgia for Pokemon to sell that. And the gameplay, that's a different discussion. The gameplay innovations are cool, but the graphics are kind of not great. I think we're going to see another nostalgic either collection or a new entry in some series from the past. I don't know what that's going to be. I would love to see an official Ty the Tasmanian Tiger trilogy come out on Switch. I know Chrome Studios has been working on remakes independently on Kickstarter. But I think it'd be cool to see a collection. I love the Ty games. I don't know that it will be Ty, but I would not be surprised if we saw some kind of nostalgic collection. It won't be first party Nintendo nostalgic collection. They'll put that on NSO for the expansion pass to charge people for it. But whether it's Ty, whether it's it would be Jak and Daxter. That's PlayStation. I'm trying to think through like nostalgic collections on the Nintendo on a Nintendo console. I don't know. The only one that I can think of is Ty. But I think we'll see something like that.
Okay. That'd be cool.
Yeah, something from days gone by that you would not be expecting coming out on the Switch.
Hey, that'd be sweet. I'd be all about that. On this, it does say that Ubisoft refers to its relationship with EA as hostile.
Okay, so that is no.
I think back in 2010, it said they sold their 15% of EA sold their 15% stake in Ubisoft, but then also I guess they're still kind of lumped in. I don't know exactly how.
Okay, wow. So that is like the absolute opposite of what I thought it was.
It's kind of like weird. They somehow are lumped in terms of like they still get, I don't know. It's a weird, it's complicated. You know, it's like one of those relationships that are complicated, I guess. But anyway. All right, take number 5. And so this one isn't, I think Hogwarts is getting delayed. That's not my take. Like that's going to happen. I think that there's some games that are coming out that just kind of like meh. I think that Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, if Starfield came out, all 3 of them would be in Game of the Year contenders. But I think that I'm going to say God of War Ragnarok for Game of the Year.
Really? Yeah. I think that's a solid prediction.
It's not like a way out there prediction. I mean, obviously, if all 3 games come out, any one of them could potentially at this point get it. So, but I do think that.
I will say the one thing that throws a wrench in that is I think It Takes Two was kind of an out there pick for Game of the Year this year.
That's true.
I was not expecting that.
That's true.
Because it is a multiplayer exclusive. And I mean, Hazelight isn't like an unknown studio, but they're not one of the big AAA guys. So It Takes Two winning Game of the Year was kind of out there. So they might throw us for another loop.
Yeah. I mean,
watch it be Ghostwire Tokyo. Oh, I mean, that's Bethesda, so it is a AAA, but still.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. But yeah, I think that if God of War Ragnarok comes out, I think that gets Game of the Year.
All right. I'm going to end my last take on an optimistic note. I think Sonic Frontiers is going to be the first good Sonic game in like 15 years.
Ooh.
I think Sonic Frontiers is actually going to be good.
What's the release date on that?
It just says 2022. There's no official release date. It looks like I think Sonic is a perfect choice for an open world exploration because of his speed. One of my biggest frustrations with open world games is it feels like you trudge along at a snail's pace. Now that does lend itself to like exploring tiny little crevices and stuff, but exploring an open world going as fast as possible, it would actually give Sonic the opportunity to go fast and just be fast. I think it could really be good if they lean into it.
What if they just make him like a ball that rolls around the map?
Well, I think even that could be fun, like adding some physics based in with the spin dash and like choosing to roll whenever you want. I think if they really lean into it, now we know next to nothing about Sonic Frontiers other than that one trailer, but from the trailer, it looked like it was really going open world. I think it could be good. It is the Legend of Sonic Hog of the Wild.
I think it would be cool if they did the open world like you're saying.
I mean, look at this. Look at this world. It is open world. It's been pretty much confirmed. It looks gorgeous. I think it's going to be the first good Sonic game we've gotten since Mania. So the first good 3D Sonic we've gotten since.
Does that look like a ramp?
I don't know. It looks more like a little thing that you can jump over. But I don't know. I think this could be really good, and I'm planning on picking it up whenever it comes up. I think it could be the first good 3D Sonic game we've gotten since the GameCube era. And I liked Sonic Heroes. I know a lot of people don't. It had its flaws. It was janky. I think this could be what Sonic 06 was supposed to be. Sonic 06 was supposed to be a hard reboot of the series that revitalized it and brought a new generation in, and it flopped because of corporate greed and a rushed development cycle. And I feel bad for the developers of that game because they really had passion. This looks like they actually could pull it off, and I think it'll be good. Okay. I really, really, really want it to be good because I like Sonic. I really do like Sonic.
Okay, I'm going to give you a chance to get an extra point here. What would you say the rating would be on Metacritic? And if you get it within 5, I'll give you an extra point. If you get it on the dot, I'll give you a 5 points.
Critic rating or player rating?
What do they usually judge by? Critic rating, I think.
Critic rating is usually what you go by, but then you can look to see player rating, and they're usually exact opposites. Critic rating. Because Sonic games have been so bad, if this one ends up being good, critics are going to go nuts. So I'm going to say they're going to give it an 8.5.
Okay.
If it's good.
Is Metacritic usually on a scale of 100 or a scale of 10?
User ratings are on a scale of 1 to 100. Critic ratings are a scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, got you. So you're going to give it an 8.5, you said?
I think the critics are going to give it an 8.5 if it turns out being anything other than terrible. Yes. Because their critics are just as starved for a good Sonic game as I am. Now, predicting how the Sonic fan base is going to react is an act of chaos because the Sonic fan game is one of the most unpredictable and chaotic and toxic communities. It's a terrible place.
So I had said within 10 points because I was expecting so with the critic rating though, what I'll say is within 1 point. So if you get it within 1 point,
so if it's anywhere between a 7.5 and a 9.5.
Right, then I'll give you an extra point. If it's exactly 8.5, I will give you 5 points. If it comes out, if it's good. So if it comes out, if it's good, and if they give it an 8.5, which would mean I would think it would be good, then you'll get 5 points for that.
Cool.
Which means you could possibly win the whole thing. But I think
based on a Sonic game of all things. Okay,
I think to be fair though,
but to be fair, wagering the whole thing on a Sonic game is kind of a high stakes bet because the Sonic series has been nothing if not unpredictable.
Yeah, no, if that all happened, I'd be okay with you winning that because it would just be good for gaming. Like having a Sonic game like that turned out.
I mean,
to be
what
great.
A way to end the year would be with a good Sonic game.
Imagine the fast travels is him spinning up. Poof, and flying off to the next point, and that's how you can fast travel. You can roll like normal. And
I think it could be really good. I think it's a perfect fit for an open world game, and I'm honestly surprised they haven't done this yet because his whole thing is going fast and smooth movement. And I think if they nailed the traversal, it could be so satisfying to get down. I think it'd be the definition of like, it's clunky at first. You're running into things, but as you get good at the game, I think it could feel like Spider-Man.
That's
I think it could feel like the Spider-Man PS4. Like
100%.
Web slinging took a while to get used to. I will say they did a great job of making it intuitive. Like it didn't take that long to get used to.
Right.
But once you nailed it and you were flying along, it felt so good.
And we're talking about Sony's, not the Avengers bullcrap.
Yeah, no, the Insomniac Spider-Man.
So, I like those takes. I like all of those takes. So, yeah. Who do you think wins this year in terms of consoles? Like, who do you think that more people enjoy? Xbox, Sony, or Nintendo? I'm going Xbox just because of Game Pass.
Probably Xbox because of Game Pass. If Project Spartacus goes the way that we think it's going to go, there's no way. Yeah, I think it's going to stick with Xbox. The problem with Nintendo consoles is the only people that like Nintendo consoles are the people who currently own it. Like everybody who wants a Switch has bought a Switch at this point. I'm pretty sure.
That's true.
Again, going back to the piracy thing, like unless they're like pirates who just kind of want to try these free games, they might buy one. But Nintendo has kind of always been kind of off doing its own thing. It's really hard to compare to the other two. So yeah, I would say Xbox probably.
All right. Well, there you guys have it. Our predictions for 2022. And I hope some of them don't come true. I hope others do.
I know. I want all the good ones to come true. We're not wishing anybody evil here, but
the way the game industry goes, it just makes sense, you know. And I'd rather, like you said, I'd rather Starfield take more time to develop than not. Although if they've been working on this since, they probably would like have the idea already before Skyrim came out. So they've been working on it probably at least that long, you would think, you know. I mean, that's been what, 10 years?
Yeah, I think it's been about 10 years.
I mean, let's see. Skyrim came out in
2011. Yeah, 10 years.
So, man.
11 years now. Well, it'll be 11 years in November.
So, yeah, imagine, I mean, if they've been working on it even before that with like just the idea of it, kind of some sketches or whatever. I mean, you're talking anywhere from 10 to 12 years. That's a long time for a game to be cooking. So maybe it is ready. I don't know. I mean, wait, did it say Skyrim came out 2011?
November, yeah, it was 11/11/11. It was November 11th, 2011. That was the big thing.
So then maybe they will be right with the release date on Starfield of it coming out on 11/11/22.
Maybe.
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool. I think
that's their idea, which is why they chose that date.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, 11 years, November 11th, 2022, 11 years after Skyrim came out. So it would be 11/11/11 in its own way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what day that is, like Monday, Tuesday, whatever, but what day is November 11th on? It doesn't tell me. Okay. Anyway, I don't know. I think that obviously they had some type of...
That would be funny. 11 years after Skyrim, so it would be its own version of 11/11/11.
That, or they just go ahead and release another version of Skyrim on that and say, sorry, we're delaying Starfield, but here's another Skyrim.
Here's another Skyrim, 11 years after the first one.
So, okay. Well, those are our takes for 2022. And again, like I said, we hope some of them come true, hope some don't. Leave your comment below on what you guys expect. Drop some predictions down below, see what you guys think. And yeah, enjoy you guys' weekend. I would say watch football, but it's over, so...
I guess get ready for basketball.
Yeah, March Madness is coming up right around the corner.
Oh, so, it never ends. The cycle of sports never ends.
I love it. I love all the sports. Drink lots of coffee, play lots of games, watch our podcast, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.